Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I want to first thank Mooresville's Arts for hosting me, and thank you all for coming today. So today I'm going to do a quick and easy acrylic painting. This lesson is good for all ages. So let me start with the materials. What you're going to need is a chip brush. It looks like this. And also a liner brush. The chip brushes, I went to Walmart yesterday to get a price on them. They, this is the pack that I got. They normally cost like $2.47. The liner brushes you can get for like $4. So after you get that, of course you're going to need your plastic cup, your paper plates. The paints that I recommend are either folk art or deco art paints. Those are very consistent. It's a good craft paint. You can use regular acrylics like a basic or a Liquitex brand. Any acrylic brand is good. You want something that's fast drying. So the first thing that you're going to do before you even start your painting, let me get up here. Here's your picture right here. I blew the picture up so you can see it, but it's good whenever you pick a photograph to blow up the picture. So if you're starting to paint, you might look at this picture and say, you might see all these bushes, you see that tree right here, you see the dress, you see that bucket on her head. You might get overwhelmed and say, I don't even know how to draw a straight line. How am I even going to start? Where am I going to go with this? So the best thing to do is just to break it down to colors. Like you see green right here, grays, blacks. I suggest to pick a color. You can pick green. Usually when people think of green, they think of life, something common. If you want to do yellow, you could do that to make her more bright and vibrant. And then you're going to look at these shapes right here. That's more like a rectangle. You got a circle here for her head or body. It's a rectangle. Excuse me. That's just a way to break down everything, and you're going to do a simple sketch. So that's what I'm going to do now, is start with a very basic, simple sketch right here. If you notice, the canvas that I did is a pre-toned canvas. I do not recommend, when you first start painting, to just use a blank canvas. Always tone your canvas, meaning do layers of acrylic paint or gesso to layer the paint, because if you use a bare canvas, the paint is just going to soak into that canvas and it might discourage you. So we're going to do our sketch right here. I'm just going to start here with her head. There we go. I know it's probably hard to see, but just a little value sketch. There we go. Her arms. And I'll work that out right there. There we go. So next we're going to do the background. Remember I said that I was going to choose the green for her background. So you might say, with greens, what green am I going to pick? Because there's so many shades of greens. Well, guess what, y'all? The only green I had in my stash was this green right here. Desert cactus. So that's the green I'm going to pick. So I'm going to use that. And I have my palette already pre-laid out before I signed in. So with your brush right here, I'm not going to dip it in water. I'm going to use a dry brush. And I suggest that you load the brush up with a lot of paint. A lot of times when people first start painting, they're kind of stingy with the paint. Don't be stingy with the paint. Use a lot of it. If you are scared about wasting paint, you can use the extra paint to tone your canvas. So what we're going to do is go around her body. And notice how I'm going pretty freely with the greens right here. When I first started painting, I would be like this. Let me pull it up. I would be like real skimpy There's a guy on YouTube called Jerry Yarnell. He would say, don't don't be so nitpicky. Don't be so stingy with your paint. You want to fill it up pretty full. And you might worry, well, I'm getting into the lines of her face. It doesn't matter. You can work it out. So you just want to do that, like so. There we go. There we go. So what we're doing right here while we're filling in, we are building a foundation. We're not focusing on leaves or trees. We're just getting basic colors in. That's what we're going to do right here. And really when you paint, you can think of it like learning how to cook or play an instrument. Like when you play the piano, you're not going to play like Mozart when you first start out. Usually one of the first things they teach you when I learned music in schools, we learned a basic song. We learned Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So you start out simple. Start out very basic. That's why we're just doing greens. We're not doing leaves. And really, you can be an established artist and just do basic shapes. There we go. We're just filling that in. There we go. Fill it right there. Get that there. So now I'm going to set that right here. I'm going to rinse off my brush a bit, but not too much because I want to keep some of this green in my brush. The reason why is I'm trying to make a unified painting. So if some of the green gets into her skin, it's going to make it more unified with that painting. So I'm just going to take some of the black, not too much because her face is small, so I'm not going to try to get too much in there. So same thing. See how I'm filling that in? Just make it like a circle. On her face, one part of her ear is showing, the other part isn't. So I can go back with my liner brush and get her ear. There we go. So we're going to go down to the body. And this is a good example how my drawing was off a bit and how you can fix an off drawing with the paint. Here we go. So we're going here. It's not about being perfect. When I first started painting many years ago, I wanted to be, I think a lot of artists, you want your paintings to look like a photograph. This method, you can let your paintings look like a photograph, but you have to build a foundation. You start big and then you get tighter and tighter. But I'm a loose painter, meaning I try to stay in a loose frame of mind here. I'm just going to go down here. There we go. So I noticed the way I did her dress, it seemed a little bit low, so I'm going to go up like so. Like that. And put some more green right here. Alright. So now I want to clean off my brush a bit. So we look at the her dress. When you look at her dress, I mostly see reds. There's some blue in there. Some oranges in there. The same thing I'm going to break down and just pick a color. I'm going to pick red because red is a complement of green. So there we go. So I'm going to go in there with the brush. There we go. And just block in the red. And if you notice with her, with my drawing, I didn't get all of her legs. It's okay. So I'm just going to extend it down and make her dress longer. So a lot with art is just using your imagination here. There we go. And being creative. Alright. Now we have her hat. I'll take some of that blue right here. There we go. And build on her hat. Then I'm just going to ease right here. Just pull some of that red in there. There we go. Remember I told you about her ear? That's when you can take that thin brush right here. There we go. And work that out. So what I want to do now is let that dry. Usually when I build a foundation like that, let me show the foundation right here. It's a good time to step back. Usually when I build a foundation on the painting, that foundation took me 10 minutes. This is an 8 by 10 painting, size canvas. If you do a bigger canvas, of course it's going to take a little bit longer. So the reason why I said you need to let your paint dry, acrylic is good for basic painting because acrylic paints dry slowly. So usually when I'm letting it dry, usually I go watch TV, I do a load of laundry, I cook. And part of the reason to step back from that painting is so you won't get so involved in it and worry about the mistakes. You can go back and take a second look at the painting. Another trick you can do, turn the painting upside down. So when you turn your painting upside down, what you're looking for is you're looking for mistakes right here. Like when I'm looking at this right here, you can see that little white space right there. That needs to be filled in. Maybe her arms are a little bit off. You can correct those mistakes right there. And I also, while it was drying, I was trying to think of common things that artists go through, new artists. One thing to do before you paint, I mentioned that before, write down your goals. You might look at the painting and say, well, I can't paint, this painting stinks, it don't look like her. Or you can say to yourself, well, why does it? Why do you think it's bad? Well, instead of just going in there, jumping in, painting, fixing things, you might say, well, I don't like this arm. The arm is off. How am I going to fix that? Well, you can take some of that paint and cut through it and fix it. That's off. Maybe I don't like, I need to get some more paint, the way her dress looks. And you can write that down. And if you don't know how to fix it, YouTube is an excellent resource. I've been painting for a while. I still use YouTube. I write down what problem I need to fix. I use YouTube. Two good people to look at on YouTube for painting to learn the basics is Helen Van Wyck. I believe you spell her name W-C-K Van Wyck. And Jerry Yarnell. They teach you the foundations of painting. They teach you color mixing, laying down colors. Helen Van Wyck, she does oil painting, but her foundations are good. They teach you how to do basic sketching for paintings to help build your confidence. Painting with Paulson. He's also a very good resource for YouTube as well. So now I think it's dried somewhat. Dried up a little bit. I'm just going to give it a few more seconds to dry. Another thing I wanted to mention when you're starting painting, don't compare yourself to other artists. I know another artist, the way I'm painting right now, she does very good with it. Her name is Cameron Bettinides. She's a local artist, and she does she goes to reggae concerts and does that as well. So now what I want to do, alright, so now I'm going to go back in and fill in the areas right here. There we go. Just fill in those spaces. There we go. You know what, guys, I apologize, but I'm in the middle of the video. I checked my phone real quick, and I realized I'm filming sideways, so if you have your cell phone, turn it upside down. I apologize for it being sideways. I don't do Facebook Live too often, so I need to get some classes on that because I'm not doing good on that. So if you're on your cell phone or tablet, turn it upside down. I apologize again. So what I'm doing right here, this is a good way to show you how to do I know. I just called it. I checked my phone. Yeah. Thank you, Astrid. I realized that it was filming upside down. I'm sorry. If you're on a desktop, sorry you got to look like that. But I can't stop it. So here we go. There we go. So we do that. So just filling in the gaps right there. And then her head wrap. One thing I noticed right here with her head wrap, if you guys are tuning in, I just wanted to mention to y'all that I noticed that it is filming upside down. So if you have your cell phone or tablet, turn it sideways. There we go. So what I'm going to do is, I felt the red was a little bit too dark. So I'm going in with this cinnamon color. That's because I want her little head wrap to pop more. There we go. So we're making that pop more. There we go. So like that. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting those little pieces right there. Her dress at the top, I wanted to make it a little bit more fuller on the body. I wanted to make this her hip area to poke out a little bit more. And then at the bottom, there we go. Just do a little bit more of the green. What I like about keeping some of the paint when I go into my dirty paint water right there, I like keeping some of the colors on the brush because it gives my background, it makes it more interesting. So what I'm doing, when you do your brush strokes, like I was saying before, don't be so tight with them, be free with them. See, I'm doing my arm, pull with your arm like that, pull with your arm. Especially if you're looking for an impressionistic look, pull more. This is not a tight, detailed painting. This is a loose, free painting. You can go here on these edges like so, like that. Then you see right here at the top with the blue, there's a little bit of white at the top. I like the white. If I did not like the white, I wouldn't keep it. But I do like the white here. I would change it a different color. So I'm just going to go pull like so, pull like so. There we go. And that way if you pull with your brush strokes, go like so, you get a more free, loose look. Okay. So I'm going to flip her upside down again to see where I'm at. And I'm liking where she's going here. I'm just going to pull a little bit right here. Alright. So next I'm going to work on her necklace right here because her skin is so dark. You can't really see the lines of her necklace. So I'm not going to focus on the lines of her necklace. This is giving an impression. So I'm just going to do like, that's why I like this liner brush right here. Just do little dots right here. Dot, 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 dot. And then you can mix some of that green and white and blue together on your brush, load that up, give her a little necklace. You can do the same thing with her bracelet. That's the white. Go like so, go like so. And then if you want to give it, just make it pop a bit, go like that. And then go on top of it with the white. Same thing with her dress. That has some white and yellow in it right here. Just to give her, just to make it pop a bit more. There we go. And if you want to add a little bit of blue here, just see how I'm tapping it right here. Give it more interest and then mix it It's the red, and it gives it more interest. There we go. The same thing. I'm going down like this, like so. There we go, like so. So it's drying a bit, and I noticed right here from a distance, I don't like the way that spot of blue is going there, so I'm going to load my brush with that and just kind of blend it out. That's what I'm doing. I'm blending it right here. More blending right here. There we go. So what I wanted to show you, the day before I did this, I wanted to test out and see what a painting would look like with a different color scheme. So I did it with orange. And this is probably actually going to be right side up for you. And see how it looks different with the orange versus the green. That's why I said you can pick your backgrounds. Like if you wanted to reverse it. Like when I think of colors, like when you think of red, you think of something exciting. So if you wanted her going on the path, being excited, you could do a red background and a green dress. You could reverse it. And the same technique that I did, it could be used for a lot of different things. Like I said, with a white canvas, a blank canvas, I highly recommend do not start with a blank canvas. Tone it. Like with this piece right here that I did, this one, I toned the background with purple and blue. Then I went on top of it with like white paint, and then I did the reds with the same thing. This guy right here, one of my favorite jazz artists, Cannonball Adderley. What I did with him, I started with like a blue background, blue and purple. Then I went on top with the white. And it makes it easier so your paint isn't soaking in. The same thing with this one right here. You see that blue right there peeking through? And then some browns. And you get this by being, when you do your brush strokes, let me go back to her. Remember when you do your brush strokes, give it a full arm. You don't want to be scared of the brush. Don't go in, go full, just like this, full strokes. Now if you're trying to do detail paintings, if you want to go tighter, let me go back with her. If you're looking to do things that are more, let me go with her, more photorealistic, then you're going to go close, like so. You can go like that. It'll be tighter. And then these little tiny brushes are going to be your friend if you want to do detail paintings. Okay. And then this is another one just to give you a different view. That's the original one that I posted. And see, you can be doing the same thing and you can get different results. So the point is, you can take one painting, like this I painting series, you could take one painting of this. You can make 10 different paintings out of one photograph. So I thank you very much for attending. Again, I apologize for the upside down things. If you want to shoot me any emails or questions on Instagram, Messenger, it's fine. I'm not doing any socializing, so you can send me some. And thank you guys so much for attending, and I hope you have a good afternoon.